In today's video, we're going to see how we can use some rules to determine if a number is divisible by another number. This is a really useful skill when we're simplifying fractions and as we continue to practice long division. For each of these, I will go over the rule and then explain how it can be applied. I will then use a calculator to prove that the rule has worked. For the first one, the rule is if we want to know, can we divide a number by 2? If it is an even number, which means it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, then that entire number then can be divided by 2. So our example here is 47 divisible by 2? So I'm going to look at just this last digit so I can ignore anything other than the ones place. And if it is an even, so that's a 7, then we would say it's divisible by 2. 7 is an odd number, so we would say this is not divisible by 2. On my calculator, if I did 47 divided by 2, we'll see that we get a decimal, which means it does not evenly get divided. The rule for 3 says to add all of the digits, and then if that is a multiple of 3, then the whole number can be divided by 3. Okay, so there's a couple steps to this. So the first one is I'm going to take each of these and add them together. So 4 plus 2 plus 6. 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 plus 6 is 12. Okay, so I'm going to check either a multiplication table or my knowledge of multiplication facts, and I know that 12 is 3 times 4. So because 12 is a multiple of 3, this whole number then can be divided by 3. What that means is, again, if I go to my calculator and I do 426 divided by 3, I get 142, so it can evenly divide. Let's see what this would look like for another number. So let's say I did, scroll back up, sorry, say I was doing 508. So I would add 5 plus 0 plus 8, which equals 13. Okay, 13 is not a multiple of 3. Okay, 3 times something does not evenly give us 13. So then this one we would say is not divisible. Again, checking that on a calculator. If I did 508 divided by 3, it's giving me a decimal, which means it is not evenly able to divide by 3. Okay, rule for 4. The rule for 4 says if the last 2 digits, so the tens and ones place, are a multiple of 4, then that whole number can be divided by 4. So in this example, I'm going to ignore the 1 and the 2, and I'm just looking at 52. So is 52 divisible by 4? So thinking about our times tables, I know 4 times 12 would be 48. I'm not sure if 52 is, so let's check using a calculator for this one. It's 52 divided by 4. That's 4 times 13. So then this entire number, 1,252, is divisible by 4. And we can check our answer again on a calculator. 1,252 divided by 4 is 313. Okay, let's see this again. So I'm going to ignore the 3 and the 0 in this one, and again I'm just going to look at the 2 and the 4. Okay, I know 24 can come from 4 times 6. So then the whole number, 3,024, is divisible by 4. And again, let's check on a calculator to be sure. 3024 divided by 4 is giving us a whole number, so yes. All right. The rule for 5 is pretty straightforward. Okay, all we need to do is look at the last number, and if it's a 0 or 5, it can be divided by 5. So, is 248 divisible by 5? Again, I can ignore the 2, the 4, and look at the 8. Okay, 8 is not obviously a 0 or 5, so no, this is not evenly divisible by 5. So checking my answer, 248 divided by 5, giving me a decimal, so that agrees is not evenly divisible by 5. Okay, the rule for 6 is a little bit more tricky, and it requires us to use 2 other of our rules. So, to prove that a number is divisible by 6, it needs to be divisible by both 2 and 3. Okay, so starting with our rule for 2, it is, look at that last number, 8. 8 is an even number, so this is divisible by 2. So I'll make note of that. Okay, so now I'm going to check if it is also divisible by 3. Okay, remember that rule is add these numbers, so 3 plus 1 plus 8. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 8 is 12. So 12 is a multiple of 3, so it is also divisible by 3. Okay, so if it's got both of those checked off, then yes, it is divisible by 6 as well. Okay, again, it needs to be both. So if it was divisible by 2 and not by 3, we would say no, it is not. So you'll be using your rules for 2 and 3. Of course, let's check our answer to make sure it's right. 318 divided by 6 does give us a whole number, so that is proving this correct. Okay, these skills are really important, again, especially as we continue to simplify fractions. Okay, you can use them to help you decide which numbers to be dividing by. And good luck on your assignment today.